What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. African Americans are getting sick and tired of these FBA, ADOS, weak link, xenophobic, unknowledgeable, hateful members of our communities continuously complaining and justifying their hate and xenophobia by saying Africans sold their own into slavery, when in fact Africans didn't sell their own into slavery. And that just shows the lack of education that you guys have, because in Africa there were different ethnic groups, different kingdoms, different people. They all just so happen to be very melanated individuals, right? The idea of blackness didn't happen until we had a contrast between us and white people. All right. But before that came along, we were all just different. The world is black. The world is melanated. Right. So the idea of blackness, or this thing we call black, is just us acknowledging that we all Africans have a shared history. We have a common history. And if you are an African American, if you are ADOS, if you are FBA, that means within your bloodline, within your genetic code lies the ancestors that sold their opposition during wartime into slavery. And you are also the person that got taken into slavery. You are both the seller and the captive. Therefore, if you hate somebody, you hate yourself. If you hate somebody, you hate your ancestors. And just like the British and the French fought each other, the Africans fought each other. Just like the Vikings fought and colonized and raped and murdered the British, the same thing happened in Africa between different kingdoms. But you guys got this false sense of history to where everybody on Africa was the same tribe, the same people, and they undermined each other on behalf of whiteness, when in fact it was kingdoms who were fighting each other for territory, for glory, for royal disputes, and various other reasons why nationalities and groups fight each other. The same reason why Genghis Khan went and great murdered and pillaged his way through all of Eurasia. The same thing happened in Africa. And in that happening, Europeans took advantage of that the same way they took advantage of the Native Americans, who were also fighting and killing each other because there were different kingdoms fighting for various different reasons. That's what happens all over the world during that time. It's just that Europeans capitalized on it and they created their form of slavery, which no one else had. Africans didn't know nothing about chattel slavery. They knew there was no jails. If you captured your op, you integrated your op into your community to benefit you, because more than likely during that war, you lost men. Therefore, men are finite, women are finite. You captured them and you integrated them into your community via a program, via indentured servitude. That is what we are calling slavery nowadays. All right. So when the Africans were selling their opposition, when they were selling their war captives, when they were doing these things, they were doing it under the idea, when they were selling to the Europeans, that they would be treated the same way within their world knowledge, within their perspective. They would be treated the way everybody else would be treated after war if you're the one that lost, with dignity and respect. But you're going to pay your penance for going against or fighting against or being in opposition towards that kingdom. So, but African Americans are getting tired of that, because if by one hand you guys are saying that you sold, that you were sold into slavery, you're admitting that there are victims in Africa. So you're mad at the entire African continent. You're mad at the entire African continent because some of your ancestors got caught up or lost a war against other Africans, or some of your family members were victims of slave raids. Well, that would be you admitting that you have family in Africa and that you are in fact African. And that just like there were people who fought to capture their opposition and place them into slavery, which they knew nothing about, there were also more Africans who fought against that slavery. You don't take in consideration the Africans that fought against the Europeans, the kings that fought against the Europeans. You never say Africans defended Africans from slavery. You always just look at the ones that sold us into slavery. Your ancestors, by the way. You never give credit to those kings, those chiefs, those queens who fought vehemently, who died, who some of their heads are sitting in white museums because they had the nerve to fight for their people. Many more of your ancestors would have been in the Americas if those kings, chiefs, and queens didn't fight for the liberation of their people against white people. But you don't take that in consideration because you don't care. It's just much easier and much easier for you to be intellectually lazy and to just hate for the sake of hating, because you don't have the brain power, you don't have the discipline to learn your real history and then conduct your modern perspective based off that history. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to put this clip of this young lady saying just as much. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
I get so sick of y'all dumb self-haters talking about some Africans. We not Africans. They sold us into slavery. We don't like them. We not. Well, which one is it? Are you related to the Africans or not? Because now you talk about us and what happened to us by the hands of them. So they did sell us into slavery, right? So we do come from the enslaved Africans, right? Okay. So which one is it? You can't have it both ways. And have the Europeans not brought their white tea ass over there? You know what I mean? They had no business being over there. So you gonna excuse the white colonizer, but you got so much smoke for your African cousin. And while you over there trying to act like you sticking up for the fact that, oh, they sold they sold us into slavery. Who are the victims? Other Africans who were brought over, who, yes, were sold into slavery, and they came over here. So you're going to forsake your African ancestors because you mad at the other African ancestors. Is that what I'm hearing? All right. You're going to turn your back on your ancestors who were brought over here, who were victims, who did rebel, who did fight back so that you can be here. You're going to turn your back on them because you mad at because you mad at some Africans in Africa. Some African ancestors back in the day. You mad at them. So you're going to turn your back on your people. Okay, yes, there were Africans who participated in the tragic, in the shameful act of chattel slavery by selling their rival tribes into it, capturing them, doing whatever they do, making trades with Europeans. That doesn't excuse the Europeans, and that doesn't give you a right to now hate your African cousins, because there were also Africans who were victims and decided to fight, decided to unite. Because make no mistake, had they not decided to unite, we would not be here right now. It was unity that brought us through, not your silly ass division. It was unity that brought us through. So you have the audacity to sit up there they sold us into slavery. You ain't doing nothing but bumping gums and causing more division. You would rather cause more division versus going after the colonizer that shouldn't have had their ass up in Africa in the first place, trading nothing or nobody. Shouldn't have been there in the first place. You can't bring them to account. Okay? You can't acknowledge that there are places in Africa who have invited us, their cousins, and said, come on back home. Come on back home. And then y'all want to say, oh yeah, they just want somebody to help them build Africa. We gonna build it all up. We gonna build up America. Since y'all claim y'all love America so much, but y'all don't do shit to build it up. We Pan-Africans and pro-black people and those alike, we're gonna build up America, and we gonna build up Africa. And we have been doing it. And the strength is in the numbers. The reason why we are not as far as we should be and could be is because of people like you who like to divide. Those people who say, oh, I'm not African, but they really of African descent, and they act like they don't know the difference between African and African descent. Those are the ones. Those are the ones, the reasons why we are not farther in the revolution. Because they too weak. They some Uncle Toms. They some raccoons. They would rather go against their own. Even go against their own that ain't down with that. When we tell them we ain't down with dividing from our African cousins, you know what they tell us? They threaten our lives. They tell us, F you. They put us down. They put down our works. They tell us to go back to Africa. They turn into the colonizer. They don't have smoke for the colonizer, nor do they want to be different than the colonizer. They want to be just like the colonizer. And the colonizer is sitting back laughing, yeah, go get them Africans, you black motherfuckers. Go get them Africans. That's what they saying. Y'all fight each other. Because we went all up and through there and helped cause the division. And now we sitting back laughing. Because we got an army, a new FBA army, a new pretendian army, a new self-hating army that's going to go up against their own, including their African cousins. And they ain't going to do shit to fix America, and damn sure ain't going to do shit to fix Africa. They just going to bump their gums and talk about Pan-Africanism is dead, and compare themselves to organizations, groups, and people who have done more than they ever could do. Catch up, mother uckers, and stop being so dumb.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.